Hey everyone, I'm here with the monthly reading for July 2021, that is. Now, I did hear a different psychic give a prediction for this month, and it sounded like rainbows and clouds and just too good to be true, and I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. My reading will probably be a lot different, but there's a lot of good energy for this month coming up. So I actually have to agree that, the things that I kind of were doubting were going to be like all that excellent, because sometimes people can exaggerate things. It really does look like there's some amazing energy going on next month, at least potential possibilities of amazing things happening. And so the way that I read is I kind of get visions, and I tap into the energy and I read the energy, but I also see it sometimes through symbols. So the first thing that I saw was a giant star, and this star was very special, and it had like lights going off in the background, like as if it was like on a stage and it was being presented, and just this big sense of being special for everyone. Like everyone in the world is going to feel more special, like as an individual. Um, like they'll be celebrating, people will be celebrating themselves, um, their accomplishments. People will be able to see the things that they've accomplished rather than seeing where they're lacking. People will be able to see more where they're growing. And not just that, but people's wishes will be granted more in July. Um, it's a very magical month, actually, from what I'm getting. It's kind of like the things that you've held on through for the last couple months, where there may have been like trials, if you want to call it that, to see how long you can hold on to something before you give up or you lose faith in it. But if you've held your faith with something through all that time, or all this time, wherever we are in time when you're watching this, then July is the month where you may just turn a corner and your wishes are manifested right there, and you're not even expecting it. That's the sense that I'm getting for this month. There's definitely also a sense of like things just being more vibrant, things just being just more magical in general. And you can really get what you want this month. And it's not so much about getting ahead or scheming, it's more the energy of your authenticity and the things that you've held your faith through all the chaos. And this is what leads me on to the next thing that I was getting when I was tuning into the month of July. Um, and what I was seeing was snow, and I know that doesn't make any sense because it's not going to snow in summertime, but when I was asking what does this mean, it took me a while for it to make sense, but the snow was representing the system. You could call it the government, but it's bigger than the government. It's, you could call it even corporations. You could call it just the powers that be. I think that's a better way of putting it. And I'm seeing there being a breakdown in people's faith in this hierarchical belief system, if you want to call it that. And people are able to get more what they want because their faith is no longer invested in politics as much, People have had a lot of their faith invested into political movements or political ideas or politicians, and I'm seeing the politicians were kind of falling with the snow. And that's not to say that the politicians are doomed or anything like that. More specifically, that people's faith in them, the power that they have from other people putting their faith in them, is falling in July. And so this breakdown can be kind of like chaos and kind of scary, and like there's a lot going on here. But I get the sense that the general average person, not so much the politicians that may be kind of freaking out and things may be crumbling away and there's so much chaos, but for the normal person, it's actually the complete opposite. And it's actually that people are getting their wishes because they're taking their faith out of the things that are kind of beyond their control, such as the system, the powers that be, whatever that may be, and they're bringing their faith back to themselves. Everybody's going to have more faith in themselves. They're going to be that shining star. People are going to really manifest their dreams. Their energy will be focused in that. And it's a very powerful, potent month for manifestation, for manifesting your dreams. So when I tuned in again, just trying to get a sense of what may be going on in the world more, what came to me was Biden. And the picture that I saw, and this is again more symbolic, I don't think he actually smokes cigars. I could be wrong, maybe he does, I don't know. But he was smoking a cigar, and what that symbolized was him in this kind of reanalyzing mode, kind of like when you're playing chess and you're like everything's like the world is a chessboard, and he's kind of, you know, thinking about things. He's re-evaluating things that he may have had his game plan with are shifting a little bit. They're not exactly how he wanted or thought that it would be necessarily, and so it's like the complications are kind of coming in and becoming more real for him. So he's looking closer at things, reanalyzing, and he's being more cautious. And this is a good thing for him and everyone, is what I'm getting. There's a bit of viewing the whole world as a chess game, and there being a really complicated chess game geopolitically right now, or I mean in July specifically, that, and last month I said that it was kind of like on a standstill. I was seeing ships in the ocean, and I did hear some news about Russia having some ships in the ocean who were setting off test, I think there were like missile shots or rockets or whatever they were shooting. They were testing them out. It was almost like a display of power, but they weren't actually doing anything. So that's basically, I wasn't seeing them shooting missiles, but I was seeing last month. You can go back and watch the video where I was talking about there were boats in the ocean that were just kind of waiting, and they weren't doing anything. They're just kind of waiting, like kind of like pressure building up. And so this is kind of continuing from that, and there's more of this pressure building up, but it's like Biden is really like kind of reanalyzing more. And what's really going on, the general energy of the month, is kind of showing people's true intentions. and it's very heart based. It's like the energy of a lion, um, lots of pride, but I don't mean arrogant pride, but I mean truthful pride, like people speaking their truth and not caring if other people hear it, where before people may have been a little more sneaky. There's less of that sneakiness involved for July. Things are much more out in the open and kind of obvious, and you can kind of just look at a situation and kind of see it for what it is. Things are just more um, plain to see. Um, and so this is going on with countries, and so everybody's just kind of watching and kind of getting a sense of what is really going on. And I see China specifically kind of showing off where they're at, and they're like, look at us, look at our position. They have a lot of pride in their position, and they're kind of representing themselves by like how they've set themselves up in the world. And there's some sort of intentional demand behind that, in the sense that somebody may do an action and want to be seen for that action to kind of make a statement, but not so much a statement like a threat, more of a statement like, look at us, look the position, look at the position that we are in, and don't you want to be part of that, or don't you think you should go along with our plan, or just kind of building. Everybody's kind of building themselves up, um, and I want to use the word like it's building up an ego, but it's literally not like being egotistical. It's actually the complete opposite. It's actually very truthful and heartfelt. That's the general energy of the month. And I know this might not make sense with nations and politics, but I do see it affecting the political sphere in that way. So there is this pressure building up, but everyone's just kind of being very cautious and not taking like extreme moves or big steps. Everybody's just kind of getting a sense of what everybody else is about. So that's about it. I didn't go too far into the politics, but when I was getting into what this month is good for, it's definitely a great month for manifesting your dreams, and this just kind of will happen naturally. So to kind of help that happen in the best way possible, staying true to yourself and staying true to the things that you believe in, that you have faith in, will really align your life, and the way for those things to manifest into reality, because it's really about manifesting from a very heartfelt place. Putting out what you want to the world is an excellent idea for this month. The more that you can be honest and just kind of say what your truth is about what your dreams are, what your hopes are, what your intentions are, the more that you can put that out there for other people to hear, or even energetically, just thinking about it, maybe even writing it down, maybe doing some sort of mental exercise, or maybe some sort of ritual, whatever it is that you're into. This is a great idea for really harnessing the energies of this month and really getting it on point with what you would like to get out of this month. Being honest is another big one, because that's kind of where the energies are aligned and how things are manifesting from a place of your truth and your honesty. So being honest is also my advice for this month, coming from an honest place. There's, heartfelt truth as well, part of that honesty. Being open to other people is very important. And I think that will be kind of a natural thing that's just kind of naturally happening for the month. But the more that you can, open up to other people, you will be matched on some level. Like, it'll kind of come back to you. Like, the more you can open up truthfully with other people, the more that they'll open up to you, and the more that it'll kind of synergize in a way that will help both of you manifest what you want. It's also a great month for taking some time to daydream. And, daydream can mean different things, but specifically what I mean when I say daydream is, think about the things that you want. Maybe spend some time where you just sit by yourself and you just think about all the things that would make your life better. Think about, where you're really coming from. And just allow yourself to just explore maybe new possibilities of what would be awesome in your life that you maybe thought was impossible or didn't dare, dream of before. So what is this month bad for? When I was tuning into this month for what is bad for this month, trying to make ends meet is not going to work out so great for you. It's really, there's like this faithful manifestation energy for this month, and if you don't really have this faith in what you really want, and it's like really heartfelt, then it's not really going to work for you. So like trying to make ends meet, like something like, financial gambling out, or like trying to, win something, isn't necessarily going to work for you, especially if it's coming out of desperation or like a responsibility. The word importance came up specifically as something to watch out for when there's something. Well, that can mean different things depending on the context, but if it's important in the sense that it's something that's really truly important to you as an individual and your life, I don't want to say your life because that brings other things into it, but if it's really important to you, like on a heartfelt spiritual level, and I don't mean like what you think would be good for you, I mean like just heartfelt, that's where you want to be. But anything else that's like more important than that, that is not what you need to be trying to manifest for this month, because it's not going to work out in that way, because that's not where the energy is. So don't try to make your achievements happen. If they do happen, they will happen naturally, but trying to push to like, getting a new house, or, making some sort of gambling investment, or I don't know, whatever it is that you may be trying to push for, it's not so much that you're going to be able to use this month to come up with something that you want and like push it through and like make it happen. That's not what it's going to be. It's more so the things that have been kind of below the surface, that have been there with you for a while now, that you've been able to hold on to and kind of pass the test of time. Those are the things that are going to bubble up to the surface. So that's what I have for this month. I wanted to go over, I remember I did last month's reading. Oh yeah, so there was, last month I said there would be something about Bitcoin and potentially Joe Biden saying something positive about it, and I don't think Joe Biden said anything positive about Bitcoin. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to what he's saying, but I think Joe Biden was kind of more of a symbol for just like the nations and whatnot. And sure, the price has been going down, but there was a new country that just decided to make Bitcoin legal tender. I forgot what country it was, but anyways, that happened like literally like right after I posted my video, which I thought was pretty interesting. Just going over what I wrote for last month so I can compare it to what actually happened. Yeah, Joe Biden was more in the spotlight than Kamala Harris. I did say that Joe Biden would be not doing too much new, although he did have the meeting with Putin, which was new. But as far as like his policies, he didn't really do anything different. I did say something may perk him up about a new way of pushing his older ideas to the public, and I think that's what the meeting with Putin was about. It was, he didn't really change anything. Nothing really changed. It was just kind of more like a public display to kind of get the public to kind of, you know, have more faith in him, although I don't necessarily see that happening July. So, yeah, the ships, that literally did happen. I was thinking it might be Chinese, but apparently it was Russian ships that have been waiting. I think there's Chinese ships waiting out in the ocean too. I don't know. There's stuff like that going on a lot lately. I don't know about you, but last month there was definitely, well, June 2021, there's definitely this sense of kind of like putting up your boundaries. And so that's what I was saying last reading for last month, was a balance between like opening yourself up and like establishing your boundaries. And I feel that I've definitely experienced that a lot. Establishing communications with other people. Put up walls but be open. That's how I phrased it last month. I think that all made sense. There was a little bit of family visiting being unsatisfying that I definitely did experience in my personal life. I don't know. I also got the sense that I also know other family members were traveling and not really being satisfied with their trips. Yeah, I don't want to go on and on forever, so I'm going to call this a reading. Thank you for watching. If you would like a personal, private psychic reading, you can book a reading with me. The information should be on my website below this video, so you can just contact me through my website and we can book a reading. Also do energy healings, and I'm also doing more of like a intuitive counseling type of thing where you don't necessarily have to have anything specific that you want me to read or like come with questions necessarily. You can kind of just talk about whatever problems you may be having, and I can kind of tune into that energy and give you a little bit of feedback about what I'm getting and what may help you. And this is kind of a new thing that I've just started doing, so if you want to do that, it's the same price as a reading. Also, if you like this video, I appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, of course. Hit the notification bell so that you see my videos in the future. And I think that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.